In today's case study video, we'll be looking at a retirement plan that I recently built for David and Alan, a couple of clients that I recently started working with. They're selling their business, they want to retire this year in 2025, and they needed help organizing their financial plan. So in this video, we're going to cover three things: their retirement income plan, or what they can safely spend from their savings, a tax plan including Roth Conversions, as well as an investment allocation that I recommend based on their unique goals, their financial situation, and their risk tolerance. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Jake Skellhorn. I'm a certified financial planner and the co-founder of Spark Wealth Advisors. This channel and my firm are both dedicated to giving you more confidence and clarity with your money. So with that said, let's take a closer look at Dave and Alan's financial goals here. And if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that their names have been changed for privacy reasons, and some of these details have been switched out. But essentially, Dave and Alan are a couple located here in Florida with me. They want to sell their business. They own a medical practice, and they want to sell their business pretty much right away and retire this year, like I said, in 2025. Ideally, they'd like to be able to spend about $10,000 per month from their savings and investments in retirement to support their current lifestyle. They want to split their time between a home that they own here in Florida as well as a mountain home that they own in North Carolina. So they'll split about 6 months out of the year between each of those. They do have a couple of investment properties that they Airbnb, but they would like to start winding that down. They no longer want to be landlords in retirement, so I can't blame them for that, but we'll discuss the tax implications of selling those properties and how to invest the proceeds to support that income need that they have. Besides that, they just want to minimize their taxes in retirement. They've been working in the business pretty much their whole lives. They are familiar with how the taxes work there, but aren't really sure how to sort of monitor and minimize their taxes when it comes to drawing from their investments, Social Security, things like that. And then, of course, they want to invest wisely. So they want to make sure that they're keeping pace with inflation, investing in a way that's going to allow them to support that income goal that they have, but also not take on any more risk than is really needed to, again, support those goals. So that's a little bit about Dave and Alan's goals. And some other important considerations before we dive into the planning software here. They are selling half of their business this year in 2025 and the other half in 2026. So it's important to plan ahead for the capital gains taxes that will come with that. It's probably going to work out better for them doing it half and half instead of all in 1 year. There is quite an age difference between the two. Dave is currently 72 years old, while Alan is 59. So there are some important things to keep in mind with that when it comes to how we are going to invest their accounts and which ones are going to withdraw from first, required minimum distributions, things like that. So Dave is already receiving his Social Security benefit. He's receiving about $3,500 a month that we'll go into, whereas Alan, of course, is not eligible just yet. So we'll discuss the best strategy for him. They have a pretty significant balance in their company 401k plan. They have over $1 million between the two of them. So we want to make sure that we're keeping that in mind when it comes to Roth conversions, how those accounts should be invested, etc. And as I mentioned already, there will be some capital gains taxes that we'll need to keep an eye out for and plan for when they sell their Airbnb property as well as their business. So we'll want to make sure that we're keeping some money in cash to pay those taxes. So now that we have a good idea of Dave and Alan's retirement goals and some considerations to keep in mind, let's take a closer look at their financial situation in our planning software. All right, so here's an overview of Dave and Alan's financial situation. If you've seen my videos before, this might look a little bit different than the typical planning software that I use. This one is more focused on retirement spending, so those who are getting ready to retire in the next year or so. I like to use this because it has a strong focus on exactly what you can spend, which is really the primary concern for those who are leaving the workforce. So we'll go into that in just a moment, but let's cover some details of their finances here, starting with their assets. So they have their other assets here, which would include their real estate. They have Casa Nuevo as their primary residence that they've named here. Their mountain home up in North Carolina is the High Spring Retreat. They have a couple plots of land that they're probably going to get rid of as well. And then they have their primary residence, and then we have their business here. We have the business broken out into two separate parts, once again, to make sure the software is properly picking up the tax implications of selling it in 2 different years. So we have their business valued at about $800,000. They do have some money in checking and savings accounts that they primarily use for cash flow with the business. We're probably not going to recommend investing that anytime soon because they will have some significant tax bills coming up with the sale of the business and the properties. So that's probably going to stay where it's at least for the most part. And then they have their investment accounts. Right now, they just have the 2 401ks. Right here, we're listed as IRAs because those are going to be rolled over to IRAs in the future. but Dave has about $560,000 all pre-tax, and Alan's is just under $500,000. We do have placeholders here for Roth IRAs, since we're probably going to recommend Roth Conversions to them both. And then they have a joint brokerage account where the sale proceeds will go from the business and the properties. So those are all placeholders for now. And then we have their income, which is going to be pretty inflated for this year because, again, we have sort of input the sales of the different assets. So they have their Airbnb property sale here. They have their first half of the business sale here. And then they're currently both still receiving a salary from the business. When they sell half of it, they are still going to be taking half of their salary that they were paying themselves before. And then any business profits will also come to them, or half of the business profits, I should say. And then once again, Dave is also receiving Social Security at the moment, just under $43,000 per year. And then we have the placeholder for Alan's. He'll likely claim at full retirement age so that we have some time to do those Roth conversions without any added income from his Social Security. And then we also have some portfolio withdrawals planned for this year already. Since Dave is going to be RMD age, he's going to be 73 this year. He will be required to start taking money out of his IRA. That's calculated just under $20,000. Expenses will also look a little high for this year, and then will go down in the future because of their tax liability from the property and the business sale. So that's kind of factored in here. So we budget for expenses separately here. They have their basic living expenses. They have healthcare. They have property taxes and insurance, which will go down when they sell the Airbnb property, which is this one. And then they'll keep their cabin mortgage in the mountains up north. So that will stay in future years. But that's a little bit about their expenses. And then lastly, they have their liabilities, which are the two mortgages at the moment. Again, this one will stay throughout retirement until it's paid off. And this one will be paid off with the proceeds of the home sale over here that we looked at. So, and lastly, the savings and transfers number up here is basically what they'll be able to invest in that joint brokerage account this year through their salaries, the property sales, and the business sale. So now that we have an overview of their financial situation, let's take a look at their spending capacity, which is going to be their sort of guardrails plan, as we call it here. If you haven't seen any of my other videos regarding retirement income guardrails, this strategy is basically a response to the 4% rule, which often results in not spending as much money as you could throughout retirement. So what it does to avoid that is allows you to adjust your spending depending on how your portfolio is actually performing throughout retirement, whereas the 4% rule kind of assumes a static spending, the same amount every single year. So as we can see here in January of 26, which is when they'll be fully retired, have that other half of the business sold, no longer receiving a salary, they expect to have about $2.1 million total between their IRAs and their brokerage account. So including their Social Security, we expect that they can spend just south of $17,000 per month. That is before taxes. They will have some pretty big tax bills in the first year or two from the capital gains. But basically, this is their preliminary spending plan. Again, if their portfolio continues to grow throughout retirement and it hits this upper guardrail, it will allow them to increase their spending, again, to avoid reaching their final years with regret and not wishing they spent more money in their early years. So that's really the purpose of this sort of strategy. Obviously, it does come with some possibility of adjustment on the downside. If their portfolio does drop about 30% or so, they would have to cut back spending, at least temporarily, and not by much, to preserve their portfolio, prevent lower their chances of running out of money in the long run. So this is their sort of preliminary plan. To take a closer look, we can show them where they're at today, which is this dotted line. As you can see, if their portfolio increases 12%, they would hit that upper guardrail. The guardrail to the downside is the buffer to the downside, I should say, is much larger. In other words, their, again, portfolio would have to drop by 30% to warrant any sort of drop in spending. For a typical retirement portfolio, it's going to be more conservative. You're not going to be 100% invested in stocks. So a 30% decline, again, is going to be pretty rare, but still a possibility nonetheless. But what I like about this and what clients like about this is that there's a clearly defined plan for when, not if, the market drops in retirement. It's inevitable, happens every few years or so. So by having this plan in place ahead of time, it reduces panic, reduces anxiety about what to do when that happens. So again, this is their guardrails plan. This does include their Social Security benefit, both now and later for Alan. Like we said earlier, he's going to claim at 67 so that we have some time to do Roth conversions between now and that time. So we'll take a look at that now in our tax lab, see what makes sense there. So through the various different scenarios and possibilities of what they can do as far as Roth conversions, it looks like filling up the 24% tax bracket is going to be most beneficial to them, and they're going to be paying the taxes using the money in that brokerage account so that more of their conversions can go into that Roth IRA and growing tax-free. But as we can see, if they fill up the 24% bracket each year, it'll save them a total of 5.8% in their average tax rate over their lifetime. It's also projected to save them over $650,000 in taxes by converting this money to Roth, because that's going to reduce, the RMDs later in life for Alan. It'll also reduce Dave's RMDs now. So that's also, again, results in basically another $650,000 that they can spend on themselves in retirement instead of sending that to the government as tax payments. So always good to show the projected impact of Roth conversions and just how much money they can save you over a course of a 20-30 year retirement. So you'll notice here that this is compared to the default strategy of withdrawing all of your income needs from your taxable accounts or your brokerage accounts first. And then once those are depleted, you pull everything from your pre-tax accounts and then finally your Roth. So the Roth conversions to the 24% tax bracket is assuming that you'll take all of your income needs first from your brokerage account, and then if there's any room left in that 24% tax bracket based on your income, we'll convert money to Roth and then do the same thing the year after that, the year after that. So moving on to their investment strategy, what we did for that was we took a look at their cash flows, and what we usually like to do is set aside about 5 years worth of expenses in safer assets like cash and bonds. So for that, we pulled up a table of their expected withdrawals from their accounts to supplement their income needs. And we basically added up about 5 years worth of those withdrawals to put into safer assets. So as you can see, the first couple of years, they're not really going to need to pull anything out because they'll have income from the business sale. But from there on, we basically added up these first 5 years or so, which came out to about $150,000 per year. Times 5 is about $750,000. So that works out to about 35% of their $2.1 million portfolio that we'll have in those lower risk assets like money markets and bonds. And then the rest of it will be invested in stock investments. Again, you can take a little bit more risk with those investments if you are not going to need to touch it for at least 5 years. That way you're keeping pace with inflation, allowing yourself to continue to see that growth and hopefully, hit those upper guardrails and increase your spending throughout retirement. So that's how we arrived at their asset allocation. Again, it'll be about 65-35. Each account will be invested a little bit differently. Alan's accounts, I would say, would be invested a little bit more aggressively since he's younger, so maybe 70-30, whereas Dave's investment accounts might be invested closer to 50-50 because he'll start to pull from those accounts first for RMDs, and we'll do those Roth conversions for him. So each account will be invested slightly differently. They won't all be invested exactly the same. And then when we do those Roth conversions, any money that's going into that Roth generally is going to be touched last. So that will likely be invested 100% in equity funds. So that's a little bit about Dave and Alan's investment allocation and how we arrived at it. We did have a more broad conversation with them about how markets work so that they are prepared for the swings in the market that will continue throughout their retirement. And again, this is something that they were comfortable implementing for their plan. With that said, I still like to show all retirees that I take through this process a stress test of their plan so they can see exactly how their sort of financial plan would have worked out during various historical market crashes, such as the global financial crisis. I think most people are still pretty familiar with how that worked and how it affected their 401ks. So, throughout a 20 to 30 year retirement, it would be naive to think that we're not going to experience another market crash like we've seen in the past. So it's important to look ahead and prepare for that by seeing how your plan would have performed under various situations. So for that, I really like this tool. As part of this software that we have here, we can take their exact plan to see where they would have started in retirement and what adjustments they would have had to make throughout the global financial crisis, for example. So if they would have retired just before the global financial crisis in 2007, they would have actually had a higher starting number because the markets had a drastic run up before that. So they would have started at $18,630 for their monthly income. When the markets dropped, in November of 2008, obviously they would have hit those lower guardrails. So they would have had to make that adjustment in spending to the downside. Now, this is a big number that they would have had to cut back on, but keep in mind their initial retirement expenses that they wanted were only $10,000 per month. So they were ultimately comfortable, with the fact that this is a possibility for adjustment in the future. But as you can see, as the markets recovered over time, they were able to increase their spending again when their portfolio recovered and hit that upper guardrail here in 2021. So another good way to look at it is what your balance would have been to see, when you hit these guardrails and when adjustments need to be made. But overall, just a couple adjustments throughout their retirement. And again, the whole point of this sort of strategy is to spend more than the 4% rule, get more out of your nest egg in those early years of retirement. So that's it for today's case study. I hope it was helpful to see what it looks like for a couple of business owners to transition into retirement. If your numbers are similar to Dave and Alan's, it'll give you a good idea of what you can expect to spend from your portfolio using this guardrail strategy. If you are considering working with a financial advisor to get the most out of your retirement, we are taking on new clients at the moment, and we'd be happy to talk to you to see if we're a good fit to work together. We will build out a full retirement income assessment like this one in this video for you, so you can make an informed decision on working together. Besides that, subscribe to the channel for any future videos, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for joining.